Maria, it's already 76 degrees.
It's already 76 degrees, and we're looking at more heat and humidity. We've got a chance of showers and storms today and tomorrow, but look at what's adding up over the next week, as much as 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. And one part of the weekend, the bulk of this is falling. So I'll time it out for you and talk about our flood concerns coming up in the 10-day.
Maria, thanks.
More extreme than hurricanes, right? And we were talking about those 200-mile-per-hour winds. Just touching in on the hurricane season, which felt like it got a very early start. It did. And has been relatively quiet. But we're going to see during the month of July, things really start to uptick, at least climatologically speaking, as we head toward peak in early September. Still not much to look at right now in the Atlantic. And we go from looking at the Gulf Coast and the East Coast for development, and now we start to look out into the Atlantic for those tropical waves to perhaps be the seedling for development. Again, not seeing anything, at least in the next week or so, that sort of draws our attention to it. It certainly has been the heat, right? We were paying attention yesterday. Check out this list of peak heat index values for areas in Dutchess and Ulster counties, from Hopewell Junction peaking at 104 feels like temperature to Glenford feeling like over 100 degrees. And that was the case for a couple of hours. Thankfully, we're going to take that intensity down just a hair. It's still very stuffy, very muggy, and it'll be pretty warm today. 76 degrees out there right now, dew points into the upper 60s, so we will still have a heat index value today. As we get into the peak of the afternoon, mid and upper 80s on the thermometer. It'll feel close to or just above 90 during the afternoon. We are going to see, once again, a chance for showers and storms during the afternoon. But look at where they're kind of hanging out today, mainly north and west. So Pike, Sullivan County, parts of the Hudson Valley, northwest New Jersey. If you're thinking about going for that hike, just be aware by the afternoon we could be looking at showers and storms. And then we see things kind of die out during the evening hours. And we do it all again in a kind of a similar zone tomorrow. So can't rule out showers and storms getting into Saturday. I will say Sunday, though, that's the day, especially later in the day into early on Monday. We get that boundary, a little wave along it, enhancing the rainfall. We've got a lot of rain and flooding. Humidity hasn't gone anywhere. I'm not tracking any wet weather, at least not just yet for today, but that is going to change as we get into the afternoon hours. So one place that we'll see some of those showers and thunderstorms and over New Jersey by the afternoon and into the evening. So I'm going to break down who has that best chance today, again tomorrow, and then we all get in on that heavy rain by Sunday, breaking down that timing in the 10-day. Very, very small. They don't want to bite us. We just happen to run into their mouths sometimes, I think, is the problem. But we are looking ahead to another nice beach day as we have more sunshine, especially early on, a few clouds later, but storm-free, I think, at the coast from Long Island, Jersey Shore, and Connecticut. Temperatures similar like yesterday, a little bit cooler than inland areas. We're talking mid and upper 70s for Long Island and the Jersey Shore, where you may run into some showers and thunderstorms north and west of the city, especially for the Poconos, the Catskills, northwest New Jersey, into parts of the Hudson Valley. If you're going to do some hiking today, perhaps this is going to impact you for sure. And that chance continues again, mainly north and west of I-95 through this evening. Things quiet down, and we see a very similar scenario tomorrow, where I think coastal spots have the best chance to be storm-free during the day, but you can see during the afternoon and evening, especially north and west of I-95, that better chance to pick up showers and thunderstorms. A different case, though, as we get into Sunday. So this boundary's coming through, triggering those showers and storms, but it gets hung up, doesn't move, stationary. We get this wave to ride along it, and that enhances showers and thunderstorms. But more than just enhance, this is going to give us a lot of rain by late Sunday into early on Monday, and we're still looking at a chance as we get into Tuesday. This is going to be an issue. It's going to add up to quite a bit, so we are concerned about some flooding. If you're doing travel late on Sunday into early on Monday, this may be something that you've got to keep an eye on. Impactful, where we're looking at as much as 2 to 3, almost 3 to 4 inches of rainfall between now and next week, the bulk of that coming Sunday night into Monday. All right, so heading out right now, it's just your plain old mild and muggy, 75 degrees, winds are light. Still a bit of a heat index today. We'll see about 86 at 1 o'clock, heading to that feels like temperature in the low 90s. So it's another day, just take it easy. We don't have any advisories out, but just again, make sure you're nice and hydrated. And of course, starting the weekend, still pretty mild. We were talking about maybe getting a little.
Find out about our Friday weather around the tri-state.
Yes, it is mild and muggy everywhere. And you can see from Patterson and Livingston, Yonkers and Norwalk in the low 70s, some clouds right now, a lot of humidity. And by this afternoon, we are right back into the mid and upper 80s. 80s, and by 3 p.m. New Brunswick, you may get a spotty shower or two, and that's the case across the area today and tomorrow. But some real heavy rain will be adding to this as we get into the later part of the weekend. So we'll talk about that, time it out for you coming up in the 10-day.
Maria, thank you.
More people. So as we look to, as I mentioned, 200-mile-per-hour winds, maybe tropical systems, I just want to update you on what has been a relatively recent quiet spell here in the tropics. Areas that we start to look around from the Gulf of Mexico and the East Coast for any development. Now in July, we start to look a little farther out into the Atlantic, which has been, for the most part, pretty much shut down, and a lot of factors going into it. But one thing we also look at, the Saharan dust, which can oftentimes just shut down storm development and waves. And this certainly a lot of dust here in the atmosphere, not unusual, but it can certainly be a factor into why it's been pretty quiet and will continue through at least the next week. We're really not seeing too much that sort of piques our attention. Of course, we've been focused on the heat, right? We have mostly cloudy skies right now. Definitely looks a little humid out there from Midtown, 75 degrees at Central Park. The humidity hasn't gone anywhere, so when that sun breaks out and our temperatures go up, the heat index is going to be something you got to keep in mind. Feeling closer to 90 degrees by lunchtime, 90 plus at times, as high temperatures get into the mid 80s, and we'll stay there through the evening hours. But for the afternoon, north and west of I-95, that may also include some showers and thunderstorms, and you can see where that sort of sets up. So parts of the Catskills, the Poconos, northwestern New Jersey, the Delaware Valley. Keep that in mind if you're going to do some outdoor activities, the pool, the lake, maybe some hiking. And then you get to tomorrow afternoon and evening in a similar zone that we'll keep an eye on for showers and thunderstorms, but everybody gets in on it as we get into Sunday. So another warm one today, up into the upper 80s, 73 degrees overnight, so we hang on to that warmth and humidity, and tomorrow 87 with that chance of storms. But by Sunday, this boundary right here, combined with that area of low pressure, we're looking at heavy rain developing late Sunday into early on Monday. So think about
Get with Maria before we take a break and see what's happening. Maria.
Good morning. Yeah, we're looking at the Governor Mario Cuomo Bridge. Visibility is good so far. A little muggy out there, to say the least. And this is Sweet Riley. She's from Carmel, New York. And off camera here is the food pantry. So she's looking for some good grub today. We have 11 a.m. temperature at 81 degrees. So we want to make sure Riley and other pets are taking it easy too today. And then we're talking about showers and thunderstorms for the weekend. Timing one day better than the other. I'll show you that in the 10-day. They tend to not want to eat us, so just take it easy out there and listen to those lifeguards. They are there to help you in every way, right? Let's look at Coney Island right now. A pretty gray start, so maybe not as motivated to dip your toes into the ocean, but overall pretty nice beach forecast, whether it's New York, Long Island beaches, Jersey Shore, Connecticut as well. We're looking at sun and clouds through the afternoon, and temperatures once again a little bit cooler than inland by about 10-15 degrees or so, where we may pick up some stormy weather north and west of I-95 by this afternoon. Some from Pike, Sullivan County into parts of the Hudson Valley, and then drifting into parts of the Delaware Valley, New Jersey, as we get into the later part of the evening hours. But from American Islip and again down the shore, things should be pretty quiet. And we see a similar setup for tomorrow, where we get a flare-up of showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon, mainly along and north and west of I-95 through the evening hours. And that changes, though, on Sunday. I'll show you that in a second. So in the short term, it's still mainly about the heat and humidity. It's very muggy outside. We'll get to about 87 by 2 o'clock. At that point, the heat index still at that level of 90 plus. So it's another day you want to take it easy, and that humidity doesn't go anywhere. In fact, for the next week, we don't see any relief in that department. Now, as far as the rain chances go, we're going to be watching this boundary. Doesn't quite make it all the way through. We would love that. That would help with the humidity, but it serves as sort of a train track for this area of low pressure. So by Sunday, especially later in the day, it's going to develop some heavy rainfall, and so that's a concern heading into late Sunday. Today, again, warmth and humidity, 88 degrees. That spotty shower thunderstorm possible north and west, and only down to 73 tonight. So we
check in with Maria, looking at weather around the tri-state.
Yeah, looking okay right now. It's still mild and muggy. We have some clouds from Passaic at 74 on your way to 87 by 4 p.m. Long Beach, Hop Hog also into the 70s right now with some sun. But you see the chance for storms later this afternoon, so I'm going to break down the where and when. I can tell you no time soon will we break the humidity. In fact, into next week, staying really sticky, and at that point, it's back up into the 90s. Breaking it all down for you coming up in the 10-day.
All right.
Next few, where we're talking about showers and thunderstorms, not everywhere. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. Let's show you if you're hopping on the turnpike and then grabbing the Garden State Parkway and heading down the shore. So far, so good. Of course, Emily's got you covered on all the details. But Newark yesterday got up to 92 degrees. Of course, the heat index exceeded that. And we're already reporting technically a heat index at Newark. 78 currently, that dew point in the low 70s. Very sticky, so it feels closer to 80. Obviously, that's going to be more of an issue as the temperatures go up. 87 degrees by 2 o'clock, at times close to or exceeding that feels like temperature in the 90s. So for many hours of that, it's another day to just take it easy, perhaps head to a splash park or the beach where it's going to be about 10 or so degrees cooler. But by the afternoon, notice where the showers and storms sort of set up here, north and west of I-95. So eastern Pennsylvania, the Catskills, the Poconos, in and around the Delaware Valley, central Jersey. By this evening, can't rule out a spotty shower storm, kind of staying away from Connecticut, Long Island, and the Jersey Shore, at least for now. And then we sort of do that all over again tomorrow. So not everywhere, not all day. Spotty into the afternoon and the evening. Now things get a little bit different though heading into the weekend. It's this boundary doesn't move through. It's a train track for this area of low pressure, and what that will do is enhance showers and thunderstorms right over our area. And we're talking periods of heavy rain starting really Sunday evening into the early part of the overnight. And by the time we get to next week, we're talking 2 to 3+ inches of rainfall across the area. The bulk of this coming late Sunday and into Monday. So we are concerned about some flash flooding and flooding, something to keep in mind if you're doing some traveling here later Sunday. Today, though, it is still warm and muggy. That's the big story. 88 degrees, at times feeling closer to 90+. And we hang on to that warmth and humidity tonight, up to 87 tomorrow. So it's another warm and muggy day. We're kind of hoping to make